Okay, how can you use a formula to solve problems involving distance, rate, and time? Let's start by looking at a couple of easy examples to help you make sense of this. The formula we're going to use is distance equals rate times the time. Okay, so Grace was driving her car at an average speed of 55 miles per hour. She drove for 6 hours. How far did she drive? We're always going to, every time we have a formula, we're going to start by writing the formula and substitute into it. Okay, and you should always reread a problem, think about it, put yourself in the problem. You're driving your car at an average speed of 55 miles per hour. The speed is your rate. So let's substitute that in. You're going 55 miles per hour. She drove for 6 hours. So that's your time. How far did she drive? That's the distance. Okay, so in this one, the distance is equal to 55 times 6. You drove at 55 miles per hour for 6 hours. Okay, you're going to get 330. And the unit of measurement is miles. Be sure that you label 330 miles. Let's go back to the problem, make sure that makes sense. She was driving 55 miles per hour. She did it for 6 hours, so she went 330 miles. So in that one, we were looking for the distance. We can just multiply the rate by the time. Okay, this one's a little bit different. We're still going to start with our formula. D equals R times T. Katie rode her bike for 18 miles. Okay, so in this one we're given the distance. She rode 18 miles. It took her 3 hours. What was her average rate of speed? So in this time we're looking for the rate, and we know that she rode for 3 hours. So 18 is equal to R times 3. Okay, so this is an easy problem. We can think what number times 3 gives you 18. Okay, we know the rate is going to be 6. Let's go back. She rode for 18 miles. It took her 3 hours. What was her average rate of speed? When you're looking for the rate, you're going to label it with whatever the units are and the distance and the time. Okay, she was going miles over hours. It's 6 miles per hour. Now, got to listen carefully here. What if you didn't know what number times 3 gave you 18? Okay, you could figure it out by doing 18 divided by 3 is 6. Okay, you know multiplication and division are inverse operations. So to figure out R, you could have done 18 divided by 3 gives you 6. So what you were really doing in this problem, another formula that you can use, we can change this formula around. We were looking for the rate. When you're looking for the rate, you can divide the distance by the time. Okay, so she went 18 miles, took her 3 hours, she was going 6 miles per hour. Okay, let's look at one more. Smith family went on a road trip. They drove 150 miles, traveled at an average rate of 60 miles per hour. How long did it take them? Okay, so again, we're going to start with the formula. D equals R times T. Okay, reread the problem, think about it, put yourself in the problem. Your family's going on a road trip. It's 150 miles away. You're going 60 miles per hour. Okay, so you would go 60 miles in 1 hour, 120 miles in 2 hours, 180 miles in 3 hours. All right, it's not going to take you that long to get there. So 150 miles is our distance. The rate is 60 miles per hour. How long did it take them? Okay, so 150 equals 60 times t. Now I don't know 60 times what number equals t. Okay, so I'm going to divide 150 divided by 60. So what we're really doing here, okay, we're looking for the time. It's going to be the distance divided by the rate. Okay, so 150 divided by 60. Can add a decimal and a 0, and remember, Bring that decimal right up to your quotient. Have a nice terminating decimal here. Okay, 2.5 watt. We were looking for the time. Okay, they drove at 150 miles per hour. Or yeah, they drove 150 miles at 60 miles per hour. So the time is going to be in hours. It took them 2.5 hours. Okay, doesn't make sense. 60 miles in 1 hour, 120 miles in 2 hours, so they'd go another 30 miles in a half hour. Always be sure your answer makes sense. Okay, a couple things. Distance equals rate times the time. If the question asks how long does it take, you're looking for the time. If the question asks how fast, you're looking for the speed or the rate. How far is the distance? So the distance is equal to the rate times the time. But if you're looking for either the rate or the time, for rate, you can divide the distance by the time, or if you're looking for the time, you can divide the distance by the rate. Okay, so this one's easy to remember, and in either one of the other two formulas, remember you're dividing the distance by your other variable. So distance equals rate times time. Okay, always be sure your answer makes sense, and if you're confused, watch the video again.